Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Full Nelson Podcast. Myself, Copywrite. My co-host D1.
Yo.
We're here. We're here and we're recording shit. And we don't have really a topic, so fuck it. You're just gonna have to deal with it. We thank you for listening and watching and all that shit. Damn, y'all are watching now. This is sweet. And we might try to. I don't know, man. I want to do prank calls, but I don't think they're mature and shit. But also, I like to do them. They're just fun, man. I don't know why I'm immature like that. Anyway, this is the what's it? Episode 5.
Yep.
Yeah. And we got it more together. We're here to drop all sorts of babies off the roof and stuff like that, and just record, incriminate ourselves. Nah, we're I asked. We really don't, we know what the fuck we're doing, man. I admit it, but we're gonna pretend like we know. Yeah, welcome to the Full Nelson Podcast. How are you, D1?
Doing good.
Good, man. Doing well. I feel like whenever I ask somebody as a grammar stickler, I don't like grammar Nazi. Whenever I say like, "How are you doing?" and they say good, and I say well, I feel like I feel like I know I'm trying to one up them and shit, and I'm trying to let them know that well is the right thing. So sometimes I'll just be I'll say good. if I'm like you trying to if I'm trying to be cool with the person, I'll say good like them. But if I'm like on some bullshit, I'll be like well.
Wait, so it's not proper to even just say I'm doing good?
It's not proper grammar. No, good is like good is like the description of what something is, not an emotion. It took me a long time until I heard so many people say this. So well is what you're supposed to say. Like okay. But if if I ask like a professional and they don't say well, then I judge them on their. Like your grammar, I'm like you're getting out grammared by a dropout, but it's all right because I still fuck up my wheres, my where we are, conjuncted and in the I fuck those up, so it's all right. I'm definitely I'm not without flaw. Yeah,
as long as you know there and there.
Yeah, but I just learned those like 4 years ago and shit. I learned I have. I may have some learning disabilities. I may be on the spectrum. It took me a while to learn. I didn't know the order of my months until the year 1998, and I only learned them because I had a job. Jakai taught me. He was like, "Yo, this is sad, man." I was applying for this job at JCPenney outlet. Shout out Jakai. Shout out Grim too, the homie Mario. We met him at that job and shit. This is right when our first single started coming out on Fondle 'Em. But I like this. I'm right into the bullshit. I told you, man. Liquor gets you there quicker. And I was working at this job and shit, and I was filling the shit out, and I don't know how it came up, but I was like, yo, I told him I didn't know my months. There's a lot of basic shit that I don't know. And he was. I don't know. This is a stupid story. Yeah, I don't know my months. I knew him recently. All right. Yeah. Spotlight on the dummy is what this segment is called. But yeah. How are you doing? Do you know your months? Do you know what month this is? It's April. No, it's not. It's May. Oh shit. Just kidding. All right. Man. Yeah, man. We got the shout out D1. You got the video together. This is not my doing. This is incredible. I thank you. I'm sure the viewers and shit will thank you. This is fire as fuck. Crazy. I'm really. You're like a Gemini who's motivated and gets stuff done. That's kind of rare for Geminis, right?
Yeah, but I have like a on and off switch, like. Part of me will get over motivated and I'll go too hard on something and then I burn myself out and then I like throw the whole thing away.
I do that too. I do that. I do that. Or I won't even get to the part where I'm overly burnt out. I'll think about it in my mind. Will get burnt out of thinking about it. And
it becomes overwhelming because you want to do it too big.
Build it up. Yeah, and I'll just be like, it'll be like, I'll be sitting in my bed like, I could really be writing or reading right now or doing something. And I'll just be like, nah, just do this.
Yeah.
There's something weird.
That's why I didn't do shows a lot, because I would be like, I don't want to just like play a CD with my instrumentals and stuff. I want to have like live band, and I want to have like lighting and stuff, and like do all these effects and shit. And then it's just like putting that all together is such a hard job.
It's a lot of work, especially it's a lot of work. And then I know what you mean, because you don't. A lot of times, like going on stage, you don't get to create it, make it your own world, and like set it up the way you want it to be. Like what you're talking about is creating your own world. You know what I mean? That's like a lot of times it's a compromise, and it sucks where you're just getting on stage and you got this slice of time, and you're just on this bare stage everyone has, and there is just no backdrop, nothing at all. You're just doing your thing. Then you got to go. Yeah. You can't create an environment. You can't all the way put your vision out there. I know what you mean.
And then what's the point of doing all that work if you're not like actively on a tour, like around like different states and shit? Like we're going to do this just for Columbus for a couple shows.
Right. Depending on the show. Yeah, but for sure.
Yeah.
Man, Columbus, man, I got burnt out playing the same venues, man.
Same venues, same people.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
it's good practice, especially like considering you'll have like a weekday show and like you have a low turnout, and you get better performing like that. I think is good practice.
Yeah,
but it's depressing.
That's why I used to like to do karaoke, because it was practice for me. I felt like, because I used to do it sober and shit when I had the ankle monitor on me.
Yeah.
Dude, I used to hit out like 3 karaoke spots a night. But it gets you. You're like, if you can do karaoke, it gets you. It's like boot camp, basically. It's like, yo, I'm doing this dumb song on this dumb sound system, and I can't really sing like that, and I'm just here doing karaoke. Like, it's so stigma. It gets you there, man. Like I was on some shit, man. Also, when you're sober, you got to deal with reality and shit. So you just gotta like, I was like trying to master shit. I was like, I'm gonna master this, master people, and master dealing with this in performance. But yeah.
Yeah, you want to shout out the Patreon?
Oh, yeah, yo. So look, yeah, man, the nice folks that were registered, subscribed to the Patreon account, I want to shout them out, because they help make stuff like this possible. Let me see, where's this thing at? All right, so I want to give a shout out to Anthony Giam. What up? I appreciate you. Timothy Johnson, what's up? I appreciate you. KBZ, I appreciate you. Sandra Meyer, a good friend. You know you didn't have to do this, but I appreciate you. Luis Villalobos, I appreciate you. And Dan DeMont, I appreciate you. Like Tupac said on Dear Mama, you are appreciated. And for real, thank you. I appreciate the fuck out of that. That hypes me up to keep doing this. So yeah. Shout out.
So for everybody to know, you can support the podcast by going to patreon.com/thefoolnelson podcast. And basically there's different tiers with different incentives to just support the podcast with some perks and stuff. And definitely one that I want to highlight is the level where Copywrite will do a freestyle and shout you out, flip your name in a rhyme. If we get enough people doing that.
Yeah, and honestly, yeah. All right, I'm scrolling on Instagram. That sounds amazing. If I do that, so you guys could put my freestyle skills to the test. Let's spice things up. Plus, let's pop this shit the fuck off. I appreciate y'all. Yo, I really don't know. I think what we're going to do is go back to some of the unanswered questions that y'all asked last time that I really kind of didn't get to or didn't get to go to in depth about. I asked tonight I posted and asked cats to like list some things that they want answers to and all that shit. So, man, usually, honestly, a safe topic is Weatherman shit and old school, like kind of like our introduction to how we were, just like old stories and shit, man. D1, I'm gonna ask you to keep me on track, because otherwise it's just gonna be all over the place. Yeah, but man. I mean, all right. I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know what the fuck to talk about. I want to do prank calls. I want to bother people. That's me and that sounds fun. But I don't know, man. Like, all right, so here's the deal, right? We had a manager named Nelson Morales. Shout out to Nelson. And he basically he was managing us. He had the idea to take a demo to Bobbito because we were fans of Bobbito. We liked all the music he played, and we thought he might like it. So basically, Nelson took it upon himself to call Bobbito, ask him, because this was kind of pre-internet, like not pre-internet, but it wasn't that common like that. Everybody didn't have computers or smartphones and shit. So he called him up. Bobbito said drop off a CD at one of his stores. He had 2 stores. He had one in Philly and one in New York. It was called Footworks. So basically, we took a van out there, did just that. We dropped one off in Philly, one off in New York. We didn't hear shit for like a month. We thought he didn't like it. We just assumed, we were assuming the worst. Like we were just like, he didn't fuck with it or he didn't listen to it. And then like a month later, he called back. He called Nelson and said that he played it on the show, on the radio show on 89.9. So, I mean, we were excited. He said he wanted to put the single out. So that's that. With that, he wanted a B-side. What the fuck was the B? Oh yeah. The song called Camu. It's a solo song. It's Camu's solo song. Rest in peace, Camu. I miss you, man. He hears this. He's everywhere. His energy's everywhere. Energy doesn't die. So basically, Bobbito wanted a B-side. It took us a while, but we got this B-side together quicker than any of the other B-sides. And Bobbito's picky, man. He didn't like anything. All the B-sides that we sent him, it took a lot of, we had to send him a lot of shit for him to okay things. Like, it took a lot. Like, it took like 7 songs. We would keep sending him song, and he just he didn't like it. I'm like, damn. So, did the Camus single, whatever. We did the second one. The thing about the second Megahertz single with Rocket Science on it, after the first single came out with Bobbito, he had asked us if we wanted to go overseas on an overseas tour. This is like 1999. I was working at National Revenue Corporation at a collection agency on the east side of Columbus. And we said, yeah, of course. So we had to get our passports. We were excited. And we went out there with our first little like rap thing overseas. It was Last Emperor, shout out Last Emp, Dilated Peoples minus Evidence, shout out Rocka, shout out Evidence, shout out DJ Babu, a group called Natural Elements, which I don't know if y'all remember, but they were a Brooklyn act that used to be on Tommy Boy. They were real dope. I think A Butter was in the crew. A Butter, Salt and Pepper, A Butter, and who else, man? It was J Treads. It was some more rappers, but my brain ain't gonna work. But like we went out there, we had a blast, man. That was based off just like the independent single. So man, I don't know where to go with this shit. Basically, all right, so here, I'm gonna do it my way. Basically, we did that. It was time for the second single. Me and Jakai hadn't been talking for a while. We had some personal small shit like that, people that are close have. So this was a time, the reason why Jakai wasn't on the first Megahertz song was, Jakai wasn't in Megahertz. Megahertz was a branch off of Opium Prodigy, which was the original crew that we were in. Me, Jakai, Illogic, Pest. Oh, fuck, I shouldn't say that dude's name. Whatever, man. Whatever. And a lot of people, man. Me, Camu, like I said, Illogic, Jakai, Terrell, we were in Opium Prodigy. Me and Camu broke off and we formed our own shit, Megahertz. Megahertz was a name that I made up for a side group, like our homies group. I thought it sounded dope. But they didn't like the name and shit. So I just kind of kept it in the stash. And when it was time, when we went solo from Opium, we decided to use it. I was like, what about this name and shit? So we used it. And then, so I say that to say this. When Rocket Science dropped, Jakai's on that because that was after me and Jakai had patched shit up. And also, that's after I had heard me and Jakai, when we weren't cool for like a year and shit. It's before y'all even knew any of us. But we weren't cool for like a year. And when we got cool again, this motherfucker had some incredible verses, man. He had stepped up. He wasn't the same rapper that he was a year prior. He had really, the motherfucker was on some shit, man. Like he was Jakai is the rapper that taught me how to write a metaphor for real. He didn't sit me down, but I was paying attention to what he was doing because I didn't have any metaphors. Like we had just started rapping. Jakai for real taught, like, by studying what Jakai was doing, I learned a lot of shit, fast-tracked it because of discoveries Jakai would make. Like I remember he told me he discovered how to rap fast and shit, and was just like, you put certain words back to back, you know, breaking the bitch with the booty. Like he was just like, you put certain words back to back, and then they work. So for that, I picked that up from him, and then watching him do it, hearing him do it, and also metaphors. Like he would basically, I noticed that like a punchline was basically taking like a common saying and just taking it apart, taking words that are synonyms and shit and things like that work both ways and shit. So I started writing down phrases at first, like whatever, roll with the flavor. You're just rolling. You can't see me. Just like, these aren't things I wrote down, but I'm just saying, like, this is back in '91, so these are going to be dated for the point of reference. But also, you would just write things down and then try to make a line out of it, right? So, hold on, what was the point?
That's what I was doing a lot in the beginning, was just looking up cliches and different like sayings, and then figure out how to get that at the end of the bar and lead into it.
That's exactly, yep. And then that's exactly what I was doing too. And then when I found out how to do it, and that's what he was doing too, because I saw his notebook. He would have, that's what he said he was doing. See, I didn't think that a rapper, oh yeah, that's right. Okay. So I thought when you had metaphors, you were like a real rapper, like you were a professional rapper. I'm like, yo, this is like when you're coming up with your own shit. You're not just saying shit. So to me, I thought that was like, I thought that was like a cut above the rest and shit. So damn. Okay. So, oh yeah, that's what it was. So when I back up with Jakai, after we had not talked for a while, he had all these verses and he was on some very advanced shit. Like he had really, shit was crazy, man. He just sounded like he should have been signed. Like he sounded like a rapper who should be out there, right? So then I got my style adjusted, and I was still doing my complex shit. Cause see, me and Camu wanted to be like we wanted to be Pharaoh Monch. We both wanted to be Pharaoh Monch from Organized. So we're doing this complex shit, which takes a long time to write if you're gonna do it in an interesting way. It took me a long time to write. I would spend like a month writing a verse because I'd really craft it all the way I wanted it to be. Then I spent like another month battling people with the verse, so I'd know it by the time we had to record it. But like when I heard Jakai's shit and we linked up again, that's why my style is different on Rocket Science from World Premiere. My style on World Premiere is more technical because I had got cool with Jakai again, and also I was hearing shit, and I was like, yo, this is more effective. He trimmed the fat. The response, how I responded to it and how I saw people respond to it, I was like, oh shit, he just trimmed the fat and got right to the heart of it real quick. Mm-hmm. And it's just like more, it was just more stripped down. And after I did that, I just like, I don't know, man. I just simplified my style a little bit more. So then Rocket Science, there's that. Once again, the story, it's going to be a long ass babble session. We had the Rocket Science single, and Bobbito didn't like any of the B-sides we kept giving him. We gave him a lot of shit. And then finally, rest in peace, Camu, once again, we gave him a solo Camu song called Magnetics, which is one of my favorite songs, period, that SG on the tracks produced. So, yeah. And then after that, fucking, let's see, man. Cage called my crib, got my number from Bobito, said Mighty My wanted to work with me. I caught a Greyhound bus. I was so broke. I ain't had no money for shit. I caught a Greyhound bus living with my mom to New York. My sent the money for the Greyhound bus. I was broke, and I caught a bus out there. We did Tower of Babel. We went through a bunch of beats. Basically, Cage was like, yo, Mighty My wants to work with you. All right. So I hit up Mai, and I was like, yo, I told him basically that I had a group. And that didn't come till later. So I'm like, yo, he's saying you want to come out here and record. Like I said, this is before Pro Tools and shit. This is like when shit was like you really were physically there to record for the most part. So I went out to New York, caught a fucking like 14-hour Greyhound. Went through a bunch of beats. Mighty My will tell you, it took a bunch of beats to go through to find Tower of Babel. And then recorded my verse for that. Did another song that ended up like not becoming anything. It like ended up getting scrapped, but it was like a lot of the same verses and lines from Holier Than Thou. And then got the little shit on Raucous. We gotta switch this up, D, because I'm starting to get bored of myself.
Any other questions on it?
You won't have a chance to siphon tired fans, cause I no longer rock the mic. Nowadays I avalanche. I'm at the point where non-smokers get high before they challenge mine. So when they fuck up, don't have an alibi.
Oh yeah. All right, so cool. Shout out to Michael Cobbs. Michael Cobbs is always...
I was seeing him supporting shit.
Yeah, bro. That's, for years. So shout out. People notice that shit. Like when it's certain people that have been consistent and just like supporting what you do. And I appreciate that. Shout out Michael Cobbs. So he said, how do I know when to rap on a Camu beat? To be honest, I don't, it's weird. I have a bunch of them at my house, but I don't like to, I like to only use them when I really feel like I need to. And also I don't all the way like to be the only one to rap on them because Metro, you know what I mean? That's Camu's brother. That's Camu's ace. And, I just feel like it's a waste. You know what I mean? It would be like if we were all thirsty and I brought out a canteen in the desert and I just drank from it. I feel like that's all. That's kind of fucked up. I used one. On the new High Exhaulted too, and it's kind of a personal song, a little bit. But I kind of want to get the rest with like cats that come like me and Metro on them. You know what I mean? So. It's just, I don't know. It's just random, I guess. You know what I mean? When you feel like it's the right song or the right situation. He asked why. He said favorite song on the High Exalted 2 and why. I don't know. Honestly, I like them all.
Say Hot Iron.
Yeah? Is that how you feel?
I think so. Although, I don't know. I love the way the whole album opens up. The first two bars are just fire as fuck.
I like it's fucked up. It's hard for me to answer because I'm sick of it all. Because at some point, like I like it all, obviously, but I'm sick of it all. But the ones that stand out are maybe the newer ones. Like I don't know, man. If I had to pick one favorite, it's probably. I think you're right, man. What's the first? The first one is the swab one, right? When Maya the one
I moved the crowd using telekinesis.
Oh, that's the one. The Oh No joint.
Yeah.
Man, damn, I forgot about that one, man. That's I mean, I like that one a lot, and I like the second one a lot.
The Lie.
Yeah. The beat it's a lot going on, man. I don't know. I like the whole shit, man. I just my thing is I want to see what you guys think. For me, it doesn't. What I like is cool and all that, but I like to see what you guys think because I could say it doesn't really matter what I say. I like the whole thing, but again, I like Last Words a lot.
Yeah,
I like Last Words because when I did the vocals, I was so crisp. Like my voice was all crisp and shit, and I was really impressed for real by the vocal take. I was for real impressed by it. I know the time we did that was right before I went to CBCF when I couldn't smoke weed then and shit. But man, I like that shit a lot, even though it's short and for what it is. It's different, man. It's like when you have an album, you have different songs that are like kids that you like for different reasons. Like, the song with Vordo I like a lot it's everything's got like certain different moments and different reasons and shit. But
what's the release date on it?
July. Yep. I can't wait. On Man Bites Dog. So High Exhausted 2 is dropping. Damn. I think I'd have to say The Law is my favorite on there. Either that or White Sean Price.
Yeah.
That's my shit too. But I'm just glad we got an album, because remember when I first started recording it, I really didn't have a direction or know what I was doing. Mm-hmm. Remember when I did the trap song, the one beat with the trap beat that I did, that I still like that sample, but I don't like how I hooked it up for me. And the song just didn't stick. That's one of the few times I did a song and it just didn't stick at all. Because I wasn't doing it for me. You know, I honestly didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing, to be quite frank. I was fucking with this young bitch who listened to all trap, and I was like, don't nobody want to hear nobody rap to like other beats. So I for real felt like for a minute that I had to adjust my whole shit. But then it didn't feel right. And I didn't really, you know what I mean? I figured it out. I started figuring it out, and a lot of it was credit to like Sean Price and shit. Like I was like, man, let me not lose sight of what I'm here to do. I'm basically here to, this is the type of shit that I'm here to make. I like a lot of shit, and I like to dabble in other styles, but this is what I need to make right now, because there's a shortage of this right now in hip hop, and this is what I do well, and this is what I love to do. And I have a lot of fun doing it. You know what I mean? It's the funnest. The bullshit, like I call it bullshit, but like doing like songs like Martin Shkreli Killer and shit like that, where I'm just talking shit over like a dope beat that I like. That shit is fun to me, even though you can't do it like you can't always do the bullshit. You have to. Whatever, but that's my favorite type of shit to do. That shit just comes so naturally. So I found out I just really wanted to make like Doom and Sean Price music. And
around that time, I remember that was when you were on your Travis Scott kick.
Yeah.
Too. So like, I think it was because of that girl, right? She was like a big Travis Scott fan, so you're listening to like Astroworld.
Shout out Travis Scott. Yeah, that's exactly it. You got me. Red-handed. But I mean, no slight to Travis Scott, because Travis Scott's incredible. But I for real didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know my desire was in limbo. I was trying to figure out what other people wanted to hear. Then I had to realize I just need to do what the fuck I want to do and what I like to hear. Mm-hmm. What I think needs to be out there and what I wish was out there. So I had to figure my shit out. And it came off it was a rough start, this album. Remember, it took me a bunch. The Oh No song, it took me like 3 different takes. Yeah. I did a demo at home. I did 2 demos at home. They were both different. One was real laid back. The other one was me trying to capture the first one. And then I tried to do it laid back here and it didn't work. So then I said, fuck it. Then I just had to do what I had to do. And I did a bunch of punch-ins because I didn't know where I was going or how I wanted to sound or any of that, bro, to be honest. I was completely winging it. And that's why in the beginning, I was using crutches, meaning like there were like lines that had been reused in other shit, remember? And you were like, you said this line. Because I was like, I was going through old notebooks and just picking out like hot lines. Yeah. And like, I definitely forget, there's so much shit, man.
But then some of them would be like off of another demo you did.
Yeah.
So like we wouldn't know if it was something you already put out.
Right. And it was right. Like we were trying to clean up the shit and we couldn't figure out it sounded familiar, and we didn't know if it sounded familiar because it was from an old release of mine or if it was from this other song on this demo, this other version of what's this shit called? I Got a Devil on My Right Shoulder.
Yeah.
Other Devil, a Cold Turkey. Yeah. I like this album a lot. It's only 8 songs. And with that said, like the 8 songs are more concentrated. Like we focused on a lot of details on these 8 songs instead of doing a whole bunch of other ones. Mm-hmm. Really what it was I wanted to do High Exhausted 2, and I wanted to remake an album because a lot of people when they revisit shit and try to make a sequel of the one that people liked and shit, or the one that hit people in a certain way, they fuck it up. So I really, I was like, all right, I know what to do. I just gotta get there. I knew I just needed an updated version of like raw beats and just raw rhymes and shit. Mm-hmm. And also I had also done so many other different styles of shit along the way that I wanted to strip it down and get back to the basics of that, I just feel like that's what I needed to do. I feel like that's what needed to be done by me. I didn't want to try to sing. I didn't want to try to show I could write a song. I didn't really want to try to be. I didn't want to try to do anything. I just wanted to make
over conceptual
gutter
stuff.
shit. Yeah, I just want to make gutter shit. Yeah, I didn't want to, because sometimes I'll try to do a heartfelt song, or I'll try to make a concept, or I'll try to, But I just wanted to do some gutter rap shit. I just was listening to so much Sean P. and I wanted more shit like that to listen to. So I was like, I'm gonna have to make my own. Yo, let me see if we have any more questions. Oh yeah, okay. I was looking for that. Why am I doing a part 2 of the High Exhaulted, not my other albums? Cause fuck them other albums. Them other albums, those other albums, they are not my baby. They're not the first one. They're not the ones that had the impact of High Exhaulted. And High Exhaulted was like High Exhaulted also is an album, but it's an attitude with the album. No other albums have that same attitude because it's too much like look, man, I wanted to make a non-balanced album, like just some rugged bullshit, just some shit talk rap. And like I said, basically a lot of rappers, like I've seen people try to make part 2s or something, and I kind of took it as a challenge. Like I wanted to do it and not fuck it up. Now, I'm not saying it's better than, you may not like it better than High Exalted 1. In fact, you probably won't. Because High Exalted 1 hit when you were a certain time, nostalgic reasons. I can't recapture that. I can't do that. But it's definitely not a letdown. I will say that. I wouldn't have even went on, like, I wouldn't have put it out if it was a letdown. I wouldn't have gotten past track 1 if it was a letdown. I definitely was picky as fuck and scrutinized. Like, man, I feel like I was picky as fuck with this shit. I always am, but there's a lot. I know there's a lot coming with me saying High Exalted 2. The only reason I'm doing it is because I didn't fuck it up. If it would have came out fucked up, I wouldn't have put it out. So kind of just to let people know that it's that shit. It's like that rugged shit that I came in the game with. So all that clever metaphor shit over hard beats, that's basically what I'm on. And truthfully, I notice a lot of my fans, like certain fans will have complaints about my production, right? Not beats that I do, but like beats that I've used. And I think what it is I know what it is. I'm picky. I'm selfish when I pick beats. Sometimes I'm just like being like, all right, I just need this. Like a song like Synesthesia that's on God Save the King. I don't really expect too many other people to listen to it and get too much out of it or enjoy it. But that song's for me. So I kind of stopped on this one. I was like, all right, I want to pick some shit that's undeniable beats. I wanted shit that's just flat out, no matter what you think of me or this song, you can't say this beat's trash. You can't not fuck with this beat. I just wanted some shit like that. Because once again, in the vein of Sean Price, that was an artist to me where his formula was just like fire ass beats and these ignorant ass raps, these dope ass ignorant ass raps. And I use ignorant as a term of endearment. That, like I said, to me, that's my favorite shit. That's my favorite shit. For whatever reason, it's just the funnest, man. It's just the funnest for a certain time. You know what I mean? Like there's a time where to be serious and all that, but for me right now, there's enough of everything else in hip hop except for that, and not everybody can do that. It's just like I don't know. It's just not enough of that out there. It's too much people appeasing people, and it's too much music made for a purpose, like the purpose of trying to get like posted or heard or approved of. It's not like the thing that made me fall in love with hip hop in the beginning was how close it was to punk rock. Like how it was dangerous back then because people like it wasn't there was not a filter on it. People basically said what they said based on their true opinions. It wasn't, I'm not going to say this about so-and-so because I'm not going to get my shit played on this, or I'm not going to be able to collab with this, or not to say you should go on a rampage just bashing people, but to be honest, if you feel a certain way, like it's just music is boring. It's super boring. It's super boring. I feel like it would take somebody who has nothing to lose to just, to not give a fuck and just say what they want to say, but then at the same time, there's a fine line between that because it's not about offending other people. It's about voicing your own opinion. So you
Yeah,
gotta
not
walk,
just
you gotta
not
walk
just
that fine
talking
line.
shit just to talk shit.
Right, and that's
like
what
there's a reason behind it.
And that's where young Copywrite ruffled a bunch of feathers because as a younger person, I didn't know like I was all about just being. I thought being truthful was just the best thing you could do, regardless of who it affected, because you were being honest and not being fake. But at the end of the day, you can't be like that. You can't be like that. I learned. Trust me. That's why I've had career setbacks. I learned the hard way. You can't function like that in the real world. That's not really how things work out.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So we're gonna check out Donald Trump, his blog. I guess he has a personal blog that I really just want to laugh at. You know, definitely fuck Trump. Definitely not.
The best thing about it is
Not a Trump supporter.
is all the right wingers thought that he was going to start a new social media company.
Oh yeah. Like that was gonna be like what's that shit that they had called
Parlor.
Parlor? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let me pull up.
Man, he's so small time, dog. He's in debt, man. He has no bread left, and he has nobody. The bank. The best was towards the end of his presidency when all his investors pulled out and shit, and they were like, "Yo, we're not." You know what I mean? New York kicked him out. He's still living in that Florida house, but he's not allowed to live there. He's only allowed to be there for vacation. So I don't know what his situation is and shit.
What's crazy to me is he's on his blog. So basically, it's like DonaldJTrump.com.
Yeah.
And it's just from the desk of Donald J. Trump. I think he
still
had to drop the president thing because
he was using the logo.
Yeah.
It's like if you were on Def Jam and you got dropped, and you still got the Def Jam logo everywhere you go and shit.
Yep. So he's still saying the election fraud shit.
Man, I want to see this shit. Hold on, I'm about to check this out. Hold on.
What he said. Happy Mother's Day to all. It will all come back bigger and better and stronger than ever before. Do not worry.
It's a dog whistle like a motherfucker.
He's also, now he doesn't have the character limit from Twitter.
Is that what he said?
No, he just he's going on longer rants now. Yeah, so May 3rd, he said, the fraudulent presidential election of 2020 will be, from this day forth, known as the Big Lie. He's still talking about that in May.
Yeah, the mayor, he's trying to take that as far as he can. The major Michigan election fraud case has just filed a bombshell pleading claiming votes were intentionally switched from shut the fuck up. This is okay. Okay, I got you. It's got the thing real light. All right, May 10th. Wait, what? He's still, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, word. Wait a minute. Why has he got the Facebook and the Twitter logo next to his shit, though, just so it looks official? Oh, so you can retweet it. Christ,
yeah.
all
So this
mighty.
is the thing they did was they made it so you can repost what he posts on here, and
so
it's like a workaround, so he doesn't have to be on Facebook or Twitter.
Yeah.
But I think they're trying to figure out a way to still censor it when he gets reposted. But I remember all the right wingers, they were pissed off because they thought it was going to be a social media site, and then it turned into this, just basically a blog. And there's not even an option to comment on it, so they can't jump in and say,
they can't weigh in. Well,
best president ever.
And that's the thing. That's what makes this whole the whole circus work, right? He needs an audience to pump him up and to keep him going with his, and then the audience needs him. You know what I mean? Like, because look, this ain't do it right now. It's just me reading it. No one's ever heard it, right? No one knows what the shit is.
Yeah.
It ain't got no life to it. It needs to have that back and forth shit, and without that, it's just him on the shitter. After being loudly booed at the Utah Republican Party convention, Utah's Weber County censored Rhino Mitt Romney in the strongest of terms. Washington County Republicans also censored Romney in April. He is bad news for our country. Wait, what? This is like, who's even talked about Mitt Romney?
Did you see the My Pillow guy on Jimmy Kimmel?
Nah, pull that up. Did he talk about what was on the card and shit? It said
The
martial law.
Shit? Yeah.
It said
How
martial.
the fuck were they able to zoom in on that? Those cameras must have been crazy.
How do I know? You know what? There's that question. Then there's the question: how do we really know it said martial law? It's just so much.
I mean, he
man.
didn't deny it.
What did he say though? What did he ask him?
He claimed that a lawyer handed it to him and asked him to pass it along,
Yeah, fucking
and that he never even read it.
Get the fuck out of here. You know what that means? That means that you sent this to him and he tried to get it to happen and he couldn't get it to happen. Yeah. Like a lawyer's going to trust a MyPillow guy. Hey, I know I get paid and stuff, and I'm looking for any excuse to get paid, but I'm going to let you deliver this so that they could have an excuse not to pay me. That a lawyer would never do that.
In our nation's long and storied history, only one pillow salesman has ever been called to the Oval Office because the president was unhappy with his election results. Our next guest is that pillow man, and he has a lot to say.
All 9 of those Supreme Court justices are going to vote 9-0 because is that a hand or a foot? And they're going to go, it's a hand.
It's like the old mafia days when I used to bet football. You have been warned. Ooh, you know.
Yeah. He couldn't run a peanut factory. Not that peanut factories are, I don't know what they are, but did you see any nudity in porn? I'm getting death threats and everything else. Frank speech, if you can't come in, they're trying to turn our power off. They're attacking our power grid here.
They're attacking his power grid. Please welcome Mike Lindell.
There's his intro.
So the funny thing about this is you can tell, so Jimmy Kimmel caught a lot of shit for having him on by left-wingers. And then Lindell caught a bunch of shit from right-wingers
for being stupid,
for going on. Well, that too.
Why though? Why do you catch shit for going on? Because Kimmel's
because he's seen as some libtard.
Kimmel's taking
Hollywood
the piss
guy.
on him. He's taking the piss
you're
out
putting
of him.
yourself in a position to just
why would you
turn into a joke.
Basically, why would you go on any network other than Fox?
Yeah. Right. And then so Kimmel's being extra hard on him, but he had just come off of his appearance on, I think it was Newsmax, where he sounded fucking insane and he was going off and they had to cut him off because he was saying shit about election fraud and they're getting sued.
Right.
So they had to cut him off and he looked like he was fucking coked down.
So so this is right after that?
Yeah. So he comes onto here trying to be super docile and agreeable and just laugh along with the punches and shit. So it kind of came off bad for Kimmel in a way because it seems like he's bullying. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. No one likes a bully. You know what? Hold on. Wait. Pause this real quick. What probably happened was the MyPillow guy. What's his name?
Mike Lindell.
Mike Lindell probably got done doing that shit, and his publicist, and his manager was like, you gotta calm it down. You gotta bring it down a notch. If you're gonna do some blow, let's do a line back here, but you gotta calm down. Just bring it down.
Well, I didn't know this before, but he talks about on here he had a crack addiction.
You mean?
Probably.
Well, thank you for coming.
Look at his hands. All right, body.
We're supposed to be in a bed together.
Body language.
I'm sorry about that. The COVID people
said rules here in California.
Have you been vaccinated?
No,
you have not. I meant for
you know who he
rabies.
looks like? Hold up. Shit. Hold on, man.
I did bring you a book, though.
You brought me a book. I read your book, by the way.
You read it?
I did read your book.
Do you know that cover on there? That's where it was up 14 days with the drug dealers.
I read it on my iPad.
And they did an intervention on me.
Yeah.
And I came upstairs, downtown Minneapolis, came upstairs, and I said, the one guy says, you've been...
He looks like Ron... Pause this real quick.
The platform for...
He looks like Ron Swanson, right?
Yeah,
that's who he looks like, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
All right. That's who it was. All right.
And we want you to quit and come back and help us someday. Now I got the Lindell Recovery Network, and I'm helping millions of addicts. And you've set an example.
Millions of addicts
recovering from horrible addiction to crack. I mean, really, a horrible thing.
Let's hear about it.
I have to tell you something. I know you might think
talk about
weird,
it,
but I read Hunter Biden's book as well, and you guys have a lot in common.
The same things when you're paranoid, the paranoids that go with it, and
that's what I want to talk to you about. The paranoia.
We need to get his laptop.
You've been in hiding. Is that correct?
Yeah, but not because of paranoia.
Well, how do you know?
Zing.
You haven't been
He said paranoias
for a couple of months back home in Minnesota. Is this true? Tell me if I have this.
No, that's right. I've been working hard on this, the election and the machines and the machines.
And we've heard a lot about the machines. But you were worried that someone is trying to kill you.
Well, I've had threats, many threats.
You see what he just did?
Well, you started
Pause
out
this real
as
quick.
a bar owner in Minnesota.
He just talked about the paranoia. Then he just said, now you're talking. He brought up something that he said about that because he's trying to basically glue. That's what you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, you think somebody's trying to kill you?
He's trying to show, right. Yeah. Present it. The pillow guy might be for real, and I don't think he's. Here's why I'm going to say I don't think he's high right now, because usually when people are fucked up, it's hard for them to talk about recovery and bring it up with a straight face, because usually they either want to duck it or it's hard to talk about. You know what I mean? Because you have a guilty conscience as you talk about it.
Yeah, and also like in the context of this conversation, that's being used against you.
Right.
Like because you're a recovering addict.
Right. So
everything you're saying is bullshit.
It's being scrutinized because you're being scrutinized because of the admitted past that you have. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yo, there's that right there, just so it don't fall. All right. We got to cut it off. He's making my stomach churn. You know what I saw the other night that was real dope was the David Berkowitz documentary on Netflix, man. The Son of Sam shit.
We're watching that right now.
Man, that shit.
I think we're on the 3rd episode.
Man, tell me because I binge watched it. Where you at? Like what do you know?
I'm at the point after so Carr died in a car wreck.
Right.
And then now they're tying it to Marilyn Manson.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just showing where. Okay. So okay. Hold up. Yeah. I got to be careful what I say. That's dope. That shit's real dope.
I mean, I don't care about spoilers with this shit,
all right,
personally. So,
well, let's just say, basically, it's the same. So there was a group. What's the group that they say broke off of Scientology? The something enforcers or the fallen, something about some shit like that. So then, because they were too extreme, they were way too extreme for Scientology and shit. They wanted more and shit. Yeah. So the guy describes or whatever. So then they go do that, and then they do a bunch of crazy demonic shit, and then they break off into the children. Did you get to that part yet? Did you get to where the dude killed the lady in the church? The lady
I'm not there yet.
Man, here's the crazy part. Man, look. Okay, so you don't care about spoilers.
No.
Whoever's listening to this, if you're watching the Netflix documentary about motherfucking David Berkowitz, the Son of Sam, I'm about to spoil it. So do something about that. All right, pause it, fast forward it, figure it out. All right. It got to where, because look, they were talking about. It was connected with people over there, and then they had you saw the video clip where they showed Manson, where he was talking about, he was like, it started off with Scientology, then it broke off into so-and-so, like he referenced that. Well, it turned into, there was like a dude, a millionaire with the initials RR who lived in New York, and he lived like, he was like in the Hamptons and shit, had a big ass crib, and they used to have like cocaine, like murder parties and shit, cocaine murder orgies. They said it was one bedroom in there that was just a big ass bedroom, which is a big ass couch, or my fault, couch, bed. They said the whole bedroom, big ass. You ought to see this place.
You'd be so comfortable when you sit down.
One long. It had, but it was like a room with just a big ass bed, right, and designed for orgies. This motherfucker was making snuff films. See, here's the thing. That's a porno where you kill somebody and people pay top dollar for it because they're sick in the head and like to see that shit. Mm-hmm. The fucked up thing was I was trying to figure out, like, yo, the other group, the other cult or whatever that they broke off into, they were like into Dobermans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw that part? Yeah, and Dobermans are what they sacrifice. They said so here's the crazy part. New York basically shut down. For those who don't know, when it comes to the Son of Sam, New York, I'm not going to go do all that backstory shit. You got to figure that part out. But basically, the Son of Sam was killing women in New York, and the cops were getting their asses handed to them, as they usually are. And it got to the point where they were getting made fun of. They were the laughing stock. Eventually, they caught the Son of Sam. Here's the deal. It was like a 5-man operation or multiple. You know, may have been more than that. And here's how they found out, because the Son of Sam, one of the times that he struck one of his victims, it was documented that there was a parking ticket that was written for the Son of Sam. So how could he be two places at once, right? So he was the driver. And then somebody else was doing the shit. So all that shit happened, and the New York cops, they were just happy to get it done with, right? Because like I said, it had dragged on for a long time. The Son of Sam was a threat. Everybody was scared of him. Women were scared to go to parties at night. So the thing that was crazy was after they wrapped up the case, there was still more. There was loose ends. And there was one of the cops, as you know, D, because you said you saw it, the one that was like obsessed with it, that kept going and going and going, the one that discovered all the shit, you know what I'm saying? And they were trying to, you saw, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the cop that they're focused on, the detective. He just was noticing flaws. Like in the letter, it said the sons of Sam, right? Well, Sam was the next door neighbor. It said the king of Wicker Street or some old shit like that. Wicker Street was the street that they all lived on. The Carr family, they lived there. He said John Wheaties in the fucking in the letter. There's a dude named John Wheat, and they used to call him John Wheaties in high school. Matter of fact, I don't know if you saw this part or not, but the cop who the detective or whatever, the pig, oink, the cop was talking about how he had went to high school with which one was it? Was it John Wheaties?
It was
or
Carr.
was it? Yeah. And he was talking about how he was weird. Yeah, the one that had the one that looked like Rick Ocasek from the Cars, ironically. The first one that, now did you see this? He shot himself in the head.
Yeah.
You saw that? Okay, so that's what I was trying to get to. What contradicts the cops in wrapping it up, where they try to just like say it was over, is the fact that there was more activity in other states by the other people that are still in this, that were suspects in the New York case.
And definitely connected to him.
Exactly. And it was crazy because that's what the cop was like, yo, we caught so-and-so, Jimmy Carr, or whatever, fuck Jimmy, that's the comedian. Yo, can you drop his laugh? We got to get a soundbite of his. All right, so they said we found the one dude drinking Doberman blood behind the building. Remember the 1-2 hick, quote unquote? They're not really hicks, they're probably good guys. But the two... There we go. It's music. That's how a catalyst laughs. It's like, yo. So basically, man, that shit's crazy, man. That shit's fucking crazy. Look, then they kept trying to apprehend all the suspects, and every time they tried, they all ended up dying. So remember, they tried to apprehend all the suspects. Like the one dude, the first dude shot himself in the face. The sheriff was at the door, and he shot himself in the face. That shit's funny. To me, that's funny to me. I'm not going to lie. That's hilarious. If you're a criminal and you do some shit and you get in over your head and then like the cops show up and you just say, fuck.
Yeah.
Yo, that's hilarious. He's like,
well, didn't some of them like...
You're trying to make... What about the decision, though, that you're trying to make? You're like, wait. You're like, hold up. Do I want to kill myself? Hold up. What else do I have to do? Is there any way to turn around this? You're trying to like figure this out and shit real quick. You're like, all right, well, fuck it. What jail? You don't know if he didn't even know if he's going to get charged. That's the crazy part. They may not have been able to stick that to him. You know what I'm saying?
And if your whole goal is to bring on the end of the world, like you could still like
do that from jail.
You could still like cause some fuckery from jail.
Right. So exactly. So that proves that wasn't really his thing. I don't know. Motherfuckers are funny, man. I think that shit's hilarious, though. All right. So then, let me see. Everybody else got killed too, though. Here's the crazy shit, though, is like, I don't understand. Well, they were into the occult. I guess if it delivers, it delivers. But I just don't get what you're getting out of drinking Doberman urine and Doberman blood. And also, for real, like the devil worship, it sounds like a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Whether you're killing people, like you're doing
all these meetings in the middle of the woods.
And you're
like
burning shit, and you're painting shit, and you're doing shit, and you're going out to... Yeah. That's a lot of work. What are you getting out of it?
It's almost like the original trolls before the internet existed. Like, I'm just a fucked up person, but I want to, like, do all this other extra crazy shit just to fuck with people's heads.
Now, that's true depending on what they believe the outcome is. If they believe the outcome is going to produce results, they're not trolling. But if they're just there to fuck around, for sure. But, yo, honestly, though, here's a whole nother topic. There's power in the spoken word, right? Like, there's certain books written on it. There's a lot of books written on it. There's for real power in the spoken word that we don't know, that all of us have. So witches know that, right? Not every witch is negative at all either. But a lot of witches and people that are into the occult and Wicca, I think they call it.
Wiccans?
Wiccans, yeah. Shout out all the witches out there too. Because there's some, I mean, like, it is what it is. It's all about any human. Like, even if we see, like, if there's somebody on the street with a baseball bat to play baseball, right? He's got a baseball bat, right? He could use it for good or bad. He could play baseball and just be a, or he could go like start hitting mailboxes, right, and be an asshole.
Yeah.
So same thing with the witch power. I think some of that is, I don't think that all witches are negative.
I think aren't Wiccans like more about like nature and stuff?
Well, I don't know all the way for a fact. We should hit Wikipedia. But the thing I know is like I just think it's just a if I'm not mistaken, I think it's just like another form of like witchcraft, to where you're just basically manifesting things.
Okay.
Like they just kind of focus on manifesting things. I think. Let's hold on.
I mean, I'm basing this on a dude that I went to high school with. He always told people he was a witch, and he would say he was Wiccan, and then people, he was trying to get a rise out of people, I think, with it. But then when he would catch too much shit, then he would say, "Oh, we're just about nature and stuff," and then he would like pass around pictures of him hugging trees and stuff.
He's probably not even a real witch, for real, because he was spending his time on dumb shit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? There's a lot of me and Jakai. Jakai used to know these, man. We like pick up these girls and shit, right, when we were in high school, and he'd be like, "They're witches." I'm like, okay. We go way the fuck out into the country, and I know Jakai remembers this shit very vividly. It was like, I remember this shit vividly, and I smoked hella weed and all sorts of shit. This was way back when I was like 23 or 22, and I'm 42 now. It was just like way the fuck back, way the fuck out in the sticks, man, to where if your car died, you'd be fucked up. And then we're still even going further bullshit, and then all of a sudden these girls hop out of a fucking forest or some shit. And man, this shit's crazy, man. That shit's crazy though. I always respected witches because I was always scared. Like, I don't need you to start hitting me with some bullshit hex and shit. Because I know there's dark powers and then there's light powers. There's definitely power in a lot of shit that we don't know about. It's all about what you direct your energy towards.
Yeah, it's just the same thing with the religion for me. Is like, I'm not gonna sit here and like curse out God and stuff just in case. I'm not taking my chances.
Right. Just as a backup plan. You'd be like,
so I'm cool with all the witches.
I've cursed out God a lot, honestly.
I mean, I've had my moments, but
yeah,
day to day, I'm cool with God.
The book of Job is in the Bible. That's where he gets mad. Look, the book of Job, all this shit happens to Job, right? He's like he's successful. He's got a big farm. He's got a lot of money. He's got a big family. And God's like, have you considered, this is where I have trouble believing the Bible, stories like this, even though I'm gonna still go over it. The devil's like, God's bragging about Job, right? And the devil's like, well, have you considered my servant, or my fault. God's bragging about Job, right? The devil's looking to and fro to fuck with somebody. God's like, have you considered my servant Job? He was like, he can't be tempted. And the devil was like, of course he can't be tempted. You give him everything. He's like, if you took everything from him, I bet you he wouldn't fuck with you anymore. So he does that. He was like, basically God gave the devil permission. This is what Jakai's album, God vs. Satan, is based on, this concept. God gave the devil, according to the book of Job, permission to mess with Job, who also on Arrested Development, he's based on Job. His name, even though it's G-O-B, it's based on Job. He said Gob. He's like, you can mess with Job, my servant Job. He was like, just don't kill him. You can do anything else. So he takes away his riches. He kills a lot of his family off. He gives him boils on his skin. He fucks him up to where every day is a living hell to try to get him to curse God. It took him a long ass time. And then finally, Job was like, God, what the fuck are you doing? This is insane. Like, he'd never ever spoken out against God. He said all this shit to God. And then God, you know what? Actually, now this kind of gives it credibility. Then God was like, look, I've been waiting on you to say fuck you to me all this time. He was like, I've been wanting you to be honest with me and just be yourself with me. Thank you. And then that was it. That's the story of Job. He wanted man to say, fuck you, you bitch ass motherfucker. Yeah. He wanted man to be real with them. I don't know. And then again,
say what's on your mind.
Yeah, I guess, man. But what a mind fuck that is, right?
Yeah.
That's why it's all a mind fuck. All that shit's a mind fuck too.
Yeah, I think it's about like just being flawed, embracing your flaws, and release it, and then kind of reflect on it.
That's all you can do. That's all you can do. But being mad against a deity is very real because frustration happens, you know? Mm-hmm. All right. So now what?
Is there any more questions we can go to?
There's probably some, yeah. Let's see what's going on here.
All right, here's a question.
Yep.
All right, so this is my dude Rich. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Rich. He always like hips me to the stuff that I don't seek out myself, as far as like Griselda type stuff. Mm-hmm. He says, "Who is the best newer crew out, and why is it Griselda?"
He's right. I mean, shit, man. You already know. For one, they do raw shit, right? It doesn't matter where you're from. You do the shit that they do it's needed. The shit that they do is like the shit that was like subterranean for a while. It was kind of, the shit that they do is like underground shit, to a degree in terms of like they're rhyming to slow beats. They're rhyming to like 84 BPMs and it's not trapped up. It's slow ass. You know what I mean? Sometimes it don't even have hi-hats. Sometimes the beats don't even bang. You know what I mean? It's just so...
Sometimes it's just a loop sample with no drums.
Exactly. But also I love that they're from New York and sound like they're from New York. Mm-hmm. They're going to be instrumental in bringing it back to New York. When New York comes... Because it's all cycles. New York... Sure enough, will be back around. They'll be back on top within 5 years. It has to happen. It's already been in the motion with people like Joey Badass. It's been slow but steady. Like you know what I mean? Like people like the ASAP Squad and like definitely Griselda. Griselda's helping a lot because they embrace the New York sound. They sound like they're from New York. Mm-hmm. Man, they're great. They're great writers. I mean, Benny is an incredible writer and rapper. Conway is and Westside, he's not as good lyrically, but he puts together good songs, but he's also a visionary. Mm-hmm. He brings a lot of other incredible to the table. And to be honest, I mean, I don't mind him as an artist at all. I'm just saying like Benny and Conway are high powered lyricists,
Yeah, they do that Westside Gun style, but also like they're fucking spitting.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And then they all definitely adapt the same ad-lib, which works. Yeah, Conway is a rapper's rapper for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could switch it up on different types of stuff.
Yeah. He's all about setting up. Like he'll do like a whole verse and it'll be like all rhyming in the same syllables and shit. And then he'll have the one power. It's almost like some verses like you'll be like, "Oh, you wrote all this just to say this one line, but you set it all up." That takes a lot of skill though to keep.
Yeah.
What do you think about the song, the one with J.I.D. on it? The what's it called? Scatterbrain, right?
That shit is crazy.
Yeah, I love that shit.
That's the best song I think out of Griselda.
Song wise, yeah, I could. Yeah. Song. Yeah. To me, I think so too.
I mean, I'm biased, but like J.I.D. is fucking insane.
Yeah, he's incredible. He bodied that shit. Honestly, I don't think Luda. No disrespect to Ludacris. If you're listening, Luda, I know you tune in. But no disrespect to Luda, but I think that he was unnecessary on that song. And I think that beat probably had Luda on it already. It said co-produced by Ludacris. I think
it was his song,
yep,
and then he shopped it to them.
You know what I mean? Like, exactly.
The fact that he's like, since he's on the end of the song, it doesn't bother me.
No,
if it opened with his verse, then I'd be like,
right.
I probably wouldn't play it as much.
And you know what else though? I don't mind his verse. I think his verse is dope.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I think for me, it's J.I.D. and Conway show chemistry. They go back and forth off each other's rhyming words to show that they really now. And then that makes me think that it was already in existence before the beat with the Ludaverse because they overcompensated to show chemistry. And then you know what I mean.
And then what was that one line where J.I.D.
cold ass world, guns blazing.
And he doesn't actually say the word.
Then he says cold ass. Oh, you said finish the sentence about the suicidal
finish
doors.
The sentence. And then there was a spot where Luda could have done that and tied it together, and he didn't.
Yep.
So it made me think that was pre-recorded before they got it.
Yeah, and then the fuck your couch thing. I think if it was brand new, I don't think he would have said fuck your couch.
Yeah.
I still love it though. It's very. We're picking it apart because we're like music heads, and we know levels of mainstream and underground and mid tier and all that. But like the value in having Ludacris on your song is fucking incredible. So there's that. But to me, after JID and Conway's done rapping, I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm not as hype anymore. I'm listening to it and I'm grading Luda. And Luda did well though, except for like I said, except for the fuck your couch song.
Rap, but it's like one of those things too where like the song could end right there before he comes on and you still be satisfied.
For sure. Yup. The beat's fire though. I wish they would have turned the loop up a little bit more. I think the loop should have been up a little bit more.
I feel like that's a regular complaint that we have.
Yeah. I feel, man, older shit, I don't know, man. I don't even know. I can't even say if it's older shit, but certain shit is like that, man.
Yeah. It's like, I think maybe the thing is with mixers nowadays,
What I meant to say, I'm sorry.
They're going for the drums more than anything.
For sure. What I meant to say was older shit. I didn't finish my thought. Older shit isn't like that is what I meant to say, but that's not true. That's why I stopped my thought because it's all up on a mix-to-mix basis. But yeah, I could see that being percussion driven. Also, a lot of artists, and it's all about preference, to be quite frank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all about preference. But I don't know if, it is what it is. For me, I want to hear the loop, man.
That's my whole thing with.
I want to hear a perfect marriage. That's what makes a good mix a good mix.
With shit nowadays too, it's like the way that like melodic hip hop is kind of like taking the forefront of mainstream stuff. Mm-hmm. If you're gonna be rapping and do like old school, or not even old school, but lyrical rapping,
right?
Then there needs to be some kind of melody in the beat, and when you duck the sample down too much, it takes away from that. And then all of a sudden it feels too underground.
Yup. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Everything needs to be balanced, man. There has to be.
There's got to be something that drives the track.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, it's sometimes the drums, but usually.
Actually, a lot of times it's the 808s.
Well, with this, yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't think that song had like crazy 808s going or anything that could really take over on the sample.
Nah, it had some little bit, right. It didn't have anything that was like compensating for it.
Mm-hmm.
To where it was making up for it. I think it was just a classic case of, I bet you it was one person in this state, not a lot of communication and just getting the song done. Remember, some of these people that are good rappers, like, it's a difference between being a good rapper and having a producer ear and being like, yo, can you turn this up? Or can you turn that up? Or can you turn this down? Or, I don't know.
Yeah.
I still love the song, though. I just wish the loop was up louder. I think the loop's dope. Crazy. Yeah, it makes me want to look on Children Records for dope loops.
That and the 2 Chainz songs are both my favorites on that album.
Oh, yeah. The 2 Chainz one, yeah. That's the Alchemist beat, right?
Yeah, and then there's another one, too, where he's, like, going kind of trap mode.
Where Conway is?
Yeah. What was that one?
Yo, shout out Alchemist. Shout out Evidence. Let me do some shout outs. That's it. Yo, Michael Cobbs asked a bunch of questions. Let me answer the rest of these. So,
okay.
All right. So he said, "What's the meaning behind the High Exhaulted album title?" Man, to be honest, I heard J-Tread say it on the Fire in Which You Burn off of a Company Flow, and then I thought it sounded dope. How do you know when to rap? Okay. Meaning behind Copyright 7-8. I couldn't think of a rap name. I didn't have a rap name. I didn't know what to do as far as a rap name. So I wrote my name down and like just tagged it certain places and I put a C at the end of it. And then I was like, why don't I just call myself Copyright? Because I thought nobody else would come up with it. I didn't want to have a rap name that somebody else would end up coming up with. And Copyright's a weird rap name. Doesn't sound like a rap name to me. Like, I'm used to hearing it now, but for a while I was like, that's not a rap name. It's like a weird, but at first it was like Lyrical Vandal or some shit, and I didn't have one for a while.
What was it at first?
Man, okay, so me and Jakai and Terrell and his cousin, we were in the group called Lyrical Assassins, right? So we all had...
that was my first fucking... Yeah, me. So I met Elite, producer J. Cole, me, him, and another random dude.
Shout out Elite, man.
Yeah. We met through AOL, like cannabis. I used to go there. I used to go to Cannabis Central. I used to go there. It had the blue. It looked cheap. I used to go there. So we created a group where we would just like write text songs.
Yeah.
And just like I think we called it key style back then.
Yeah.
And our group was called Lyrical Assassins or some shit.
That's funny.
Yeah, and then it like progressed to, I think Elite was the first one who got like an actual DAW and started recording shit, and then it progressed from there. But yeah, it's funny. It's the same name.
We had lyrical in front of each our names. Like I was Lyrical Vandal. One was lyrical. I forget what Jakai was. Lyrical Vandal and lyrical. Bro, I forget the other ones, but we all had those. So hold on.
It's like the go-to lyrical miracle.
Yeah, no, dude. Listen, man. I got one of the first raps I wrote. I said lyrical. I still have it memorized too, so it's embarrassing. I can't.
You gotta spit it.
I know it, man, but it's so embarrassing. It says lyrical so many times, man. A lot of times, like every bar, every 2 bars, a lot of times. You could tell. I just realized that the word lyrical sounds like it's flipping and shit. Damn. Hold on, no. What was the boat? What were we talking about? Oh yeah, rap names. Yeah. So then, but it was that like early on. Then like for a while, I didn't have a rap name, and Jakai was saying, call yourself Pistol Pete. I didn't like that name because I just didn't like it. Because I didn't come up with it. That's why I didn't like it. I didn't come up with it. So I came up with Copywrite, and that was pretty much it. 7-8 is for the year I was born. Plus infinite, like God is infinite. God is 7 is the number of God, and 8 is infinity sideways. All right, so what made you feel? All right, I'm not answering that. Stupid. He asked a question, what made you feel holier than thou on the original High Exhaulted album? I know you're making a cute reference. I get it, but I can't really answer that. I'm not, okay, so he said, Michael Cobb, shout out, a lot of questions. Thank you. Somebody's asking questions. He said, where do you get your creative process from? What inspires you to write rhymes even when you're not happy with the current state of hip-hop/rap as a whole? Well, I'm not disgruntled with the current state of hip-hop or rap. I think rap is fine. I'm not unhappy with it at all. I think everything's cool. You said that. I didn't say that. Where do I get my creative process from? Man, different shit. Sometimes it'll be a beat. Sometimes it'll be the sample. Sometimes it'll be an event, like I have to get something done for something. But at the end of the day, I want it to be, it's like if I'm drawing a picture, I want it to be done right. I want everything to be right, or else I don't want to do it at all. I don't want to contribute. I just don't want to contribute some bullshit to the ever-growing discography of hip-hop if I feel like it doesn't have something that, like if it's not deserving. So basically, it could be anything, man. It could be situations. Mostly, though, it's musical. I know a lot of people say that. They're like, life inspires me, but they won't be specific. Like, life will inspire me, because, like, I'll hear somebody say something, right? Or, like, maybe somebody will say something while I'm running errands, and it'll spark a metaphor in my head. Or I'll see a situation and it'll make me think something, and I'll think about like maybe you see a homeless person, then you think about writing a song about the homeless person being rich and seeing how everybody else treats them, and shit like that. Like just seeing something and being like, damn, can I pull this off in a song? Either it's like that or it's like little lines where I have a metaphor idea and I'll write it down, then I'll formulate it later.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. So like for me, I'll hear somebody say almost like the cliche thing where you'll hear like a phrase or something, and then you think of a cool way to flip it. Like how often does that happen? Where like you just like write it down real quick?
All the time. That's how I get most of my shit. Because you'll hear somebody say something, and then you'll be like, damn, when I first heard that sentence, I thought about it this way, but they meant it like that. Then you'll be like, it goes that way too. Like you could talk about Yeah, you'll see like the.
But then, so if you have that written down ahead of time with the way you do your rhyme schemes, how do you flip that into a crazy multi-syllable?
So many
rhyme scheme.
So many drafts. So
you're just rewriting that line over and over again.
Some notebook, it's the same scheme over and over till I feel like, because I'll feel like there's still something in there, and then finally I'll get it to where I'm like, yo, I like this a lot. Like this this makes me happy to read it. Like, but sometimes it'll take a lot of drafts. Like the shit we just recorded, the last shit that we did, the Fever Tree shit. Man, I'll bring you the notebook next time. It's like the whole thing is like revisions of the whole first 8 bars, almost the whole notebook. Just cause like it's almost like a mom, right, who's trying to prepare a birthday party for their kid or a dad or a grandma, and you're trying to like be like, all right, I'm just gonna make this shit as good as it can be, or like a chef, you're trying to just make it as good as it can be. To like, all right, I want to bring joy to this person in this way. Like you want to make it just dope for yourself, but you're also like, man, I can't wait till everybody hears this shit. It'll be like to that point. That's when I know something's right. When I'm like in my head, I can't wait till everybody hears this. That's when I know it's right. Here's when I know it's wrong. Sometimes I feel like the shit's right. Then I'll be like about to like let someone hear it, or I'll be about to type a line, and right before I type it, I'll be like, embarrassed about that part. I got to fix that part up. Yeah. Sometimes texting people lyrics helps me fix up lines because I had to fix it before I send it because I'll be embarrassed of the corny part. I'll be like, oh, I got to fix that first.
Yeah, there's certain points where I always test shit out and I'll play something, and then when it gets to a certain point of a line that I thought was cool as fuck when I was recording it, if I feel like a little bit embarrassed or weird about that line coming up, no matter what the reaction is, if I felt that, then I'll probably go back and rewrite that part.
Exactly, because it's based on you, not the reaction of the person. That's what you trust in your gut instinct.
Yep.
I was looking there's so many I was looking through some notebooks the other day, and there was this one period where I was doing a lot of ecstasy and just free writing, and I was like, it's so much. Some of it is like it goes into like it's just so much shit. I could definitely tell I was like doing a lot of E and just like writing and seeing what would come out, because some of it'll be like power bar shit, then it'll go into like psychological shit, then it'll go into like real rap shit. I'm like, wow, this is all over the place.
I remember there was a period in time where I read something about like, even if you're not gonna write a song, just write anyways. It doesn't even have to rhyme. Just fucking like stream of conscious type shit. Just write shit that comes to your head. And I was doing that like an exercise type of thing. Every day, doing that nonstop. And then writing became so much fucking easier when it came down to actually making a song.
Because you were comfortable with what's here and this and this process. I think is that what it is? Because you were comfortable with it.
It's
like exercising. Like anything that you do, when it's time to really do it, if you're loose, you're like
like the first time you run on a treadmill, you like feel fucking awkward and like your ankles are hurting and stuff. But then after a while, it's like you don't even think about it. You're just like, all right, I'm gonna listen to a podcast while I run right now, and you're not like. Not till the end is where you're feeling like you're fucking exhausted and stuff. But like in the beginning when you're doing that shit, you're like, this feels so unnatural to do.
That's like I'm coming off a hiatus, like off of a gym hiatus, right? So while I'm working out, it's certain things where it used to be so easy, and it's like just small shit where your arms are like, you ever say a word so many times that it doesn't sound like a real word anymore?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm doing these arm things that basically if I'm on, if I'm have nothing to do, these are like good for up here. But then after doing them for so long, you start to feel like you're not even doing circles and shit. It just starts to feel weird and shit. Yeah. But that's because I'm on hiatus and I'm rusty and shit. That's why. Because at first my arms are like, what are you? This doesn't feel right. This isn't a donut. Shout out to everybody who's listening, everybody who's watching, everybody who followed the Patreon account, everybody who donated their grandmother's liver to my bucket, everybody who petted my cat, everybody who smelled my cat's breath, everybody who knocked on my door to sell electricity. I want to give a shout out to you. I want to give a shout out to King Dom. I want to give a shout out to T.H.E. I want to give a shout out to RJ. I want to give a shout out to Jakai. I want to give a shout out to D1. I want to give a shout out to Vince Staples. I want to give a shout out to Ed McMahon. I want to give a shout out to Lauren Michaels. I want to give a shout out to Kat Dennings. I want to give a shout out to Jenny McCarthy. I've been wanting to give a shout out to John Benet Ramsey. Rest in peace. I want to give a rest in peace shout out to James Brown. I want to say what's up to James Yellow. I want to say what's up to James Blue. I want to say what's up to James U. I want to just know. I want to know what you want to do. I'm just do the dart. This is the dart shout outs where I just start shouting out random people. Shout out Puff Daddy. Shout out Biggie Smalls. Shout out. It sounds like a homeless person in New York and shit. Shout out you, man. Shout out Ferris Bueller. Shout out Matthew Broderick. Shout out Larry David. Shout out Larry Davis. Shout out John Davis. Shout out Dear John. Shout out Reindeer. Shit, stupid, man.
Should you say upcoming possible interviews?
Let's do that. Yeah. So let's just do all right, so sneak preview, just Real Deal. We're gonna interview the KOTD champ, Real Deal. He's the homie. He's a great person. He's a great MC. And we're going to interview him, ask him questions. This is a person that gave me, when I was doing my battles, I would hit him up and I'd be asking him little questions, you know? This is somebody who's done this shit back to back for years, man. Back to back. I mean, like I'm talking about, Real Deal was just taking every single battle that came his way. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Like there were battles where the editing, like the league, you may not have known it, and you know the rapper, you may not have known it, and it may not have been the crispest camera work. But you could tell what it is. You're just like, yo, he's just taking every battle, and he's taking them all as serious as every other battle.
He's the one who's a phys ed teacher, right?
Yes, being a teacher, bro. Let me tell you something. When Jay Rawls took me in that classroom, it was the scariest moment of my life because students are critical. I'm in this hip hop thing, and I'm a white guy, and you guys don't know my credentials, and I'm just no matter what happens, you look at like, you know what I mean? I'm seeing it through their eyes. I'm seeing it through their eyes. So when you're a teacher, you got to be sharp because you're thinking about, you're thinking from the perspective of all your students. And also you got to be sharp enough to captivate them and shit and rebuttal and be slick because you don't want to be the corny, you know what I mean? You don't want to be the fucking, man, me being a collector, like I said, it keeps me a little bit, I can only imagine what dealing with kids on a day-to-day basis is because nobody's slicker than kids. So I feel like that is really to his advantage. But that's what I had to say. Man, that was an amazing day. I don't know if Jay Rawls knows what he did that day. That was one of the best days of my life.
What is the class that he does?
It's a hip hop class. Shout out Jay Rawls, man.
It's just like is it usually history or
he
like
said,
actually teaching you how to rap?
He mixes it up. Like he brought Lethal Effects into beatbox. He brought I forget what DJ, somebody we know, into DJ. He brought like somebody for each element of it, you know, to show them each element of it and shit. And then like I don't know on the regular what he does, but the class it's man, super cool, man. Like
do you know what the class is called?
No, but I will find out. Hold on, let me see.
Okay. Was it Ohio State?
Yep, Ohio State, and it's Mr. Rawls, Jason Rawls, Rawls. Yes, I wonder if people could look that up. Man, yo, the class was so dope. So like, you know, when I was in high school, I had to sneak and look at a Source magazine, and never in a million years would I think that I could learn hip hop. You know what I mean? Like sitting there. Or somebody teaching it, that's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Really cool, yeah.
Well, basically what the goal is to make it a staple in all schools, just like jazz is and every other. And there's a lot of teachers. Shout out all the teachers in the U.S. and overseas trying to make hip hop class a real thing and a regular thing and a thing that's more common. So. Yeah, look forward to that. Yo, actually, if you guys have any questions, I know you have questions. Ask me all the questions that you have for Real Deal so I could ask them, all right? Anything, everything. So list them, and we'll handle that. And shout out to Real Deal. Shout out to Trevor and Justice for Charlie. You know what I mean? All right, so, man, you want to wrap this up?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely got enough.
All right. Do you want to call Brian Wilson just real quick, just to, yeah, just for good measure? It's like. Full Nelson Podcast. Me and D1.
What do you want to close it out with?
I don't know, man. You want to play him a song or some shit?
Let's play Narwar's Cousin.
Hold up. Play the shit that we did, the cha-cha-cha shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, this is off Cruise Control 2. Check that out. You could buy that off my Bandcamp, copyrightbandcamp.com. And, yeah, man, thanks for listening. Appreciate y'all.
All right, here it is.
All right. Yo, peace.
Hey, what's up, buddy? What's going on, man?
Take this one here for me and my DJ.
All grind to the death, reppin' coast to coast. Long nights for the bread, never comatose.
Long pipes to the head till I overdose. Fought fights till I bled from my nose to clothes.
Hit 'em with the rope or dope or go for broke, so back off. Glass jaw shatter, you're walking dead like bath salts. Blast off with the chatter, I'll pay you back lots. You on the pavement laid out and that's your asphalt. You dash assault, you're dead last. Yeah, shotgun to ER, I'm dead ass.
Dead trash, fed brass knuckles to rappers wanting to double. You coming soon to the corner near where your mom used to hustle dudes.
You're in trouble like a kidney stone. You'll be catching more rounds than a frisbee throw.
More pounds than a Disney show. More bounce to the ounce blast while I'm out with your hoe. You know.
This one here for me and my
Files
DJ.
going viral, they would sign me in a rush. I'm like a dog away to wedding ring, diamond in the rough. Pick through shit, meticulous, and I don't give two shits if I offend you, bitch.
We meant to,
Shit,
bitch.
when this breaks, I gotta bury you. You should've learned from your mistakes, go to culinary school. I'm copping every tool that I need to use. Plot and you flop when you drop and you sweeter than fruit top.
Reevaluate your options. If you choose boxing, you gon' lose blocking. Stop and do some soul searching like you shoe shopping. Tupac in this bitch with 2 Glocks on his hips. If you bop when I'm pissed, then you stop to exist. What else?
Ever since I figured out my true worth, I've been putting out classics like a school nurse.
And they the type to get their ass kicked in a new church. They unlucky, kind of bad rip in a new shirt.
You know what the minute is, baby. This boy was
This one here for me and my DJ.
Got a can of wolf bass for racist cops, the Pepsi scene. I don't always rap, but when I do, those seckies
Check
mean.
the scheme. If the instrumental firing quits, bitch, I simply drop acapella like the Rockets firing
Eyes
clips.
dilate when I find my pace. I'm remarkable like dry erase.
Bored, wiping every mark, swear they rhyme is great. I line they face up, ain't bucked in Friday traits. Ayos mio. Get your fucking pie hole with eyes closed, weak hoe plus head crack like I wrote CeeLo. See the dough brings a mean team of hoe flings and free weed.
Synesthesia, every time the phone rings, I see
Die
green.
gambling with your life, a man handling your wife while you grand scramble trying to panhandle for a 5. Got a problem, holler boy, I house you like Ronald McDonald's coins. Every letter's fire, a ghetto writer like Donald Goines. Fucking sit down, shut up, bitch. Yeah, you're fucking high society, bitch. You don't drink it, you got tab on tap on bitch.
Take this one here for me and my DJ.
Hey, listen, I have a record I want you to play.
The fuck is
Don't you
this?
think the kids would enjoy a nice
Fuck is
song
that
with a
smell?
melody?
What you got, Holmes?
Fucking crock of
It's
shit.
a rare, one-of-a-kind original pressing.